All right, so I want to make this one a bit of a slow burner, but just hang in there and bear with me for a little bit. So the first reason why you should move to Netherlands, I'll have to say, would be the quality of life. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, and what you want inside of your life is obviously going to be subjective. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the Netherlands is actually one of the highest ranking countries for having the most happiest people on the planet. But then again, the question comes, what goes into making your life happy? Now, for me, being raised out of the countryside of upstate New York, I love nature. I love looking at wild animals and just watching them. Now, although the Netherlands isn't what you would really consider to be an all-grown wild country, there's still a lot of wildlife that you can get close to. So instead of just talking about it, I'm just going to take you guys along so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Since we're already traveling there anyway, I'm going to share with you guys exactly how and why the animals have integrated back into the Netherlands. So there's plenty of wildlife and there's plenty of animals that's been repopulated back into the Netherlands. But why did that happen? So early in the 1900s, farming has taken over the vast majority of the land, and it caused the government to have to rethink how they're going to integrate the wildlife back into nature. So a movement had happened, a Natuurmonumenten. In that time, they basically bought farmland to rewild it and to protect animals so that they could get repopulated back into nature. And now the Netherlands has plenty of spots where animals live freely under a protected space. So you guys, I had biked to this area just to show you guys exactly what I mean when I say that I want to see different wildlife. Now, this isn't really considered wildlife because they're very tame, but just take a look at what we have here. And they're just chilling, just like me. And that's one of the things I really love about the Netherlands. So let's talk about the voting. That is also completely different inside of the Netherlands. And I don't think we're ever gonna get that inside of America. Now, as I'm explaining this, we're not gonna get too political here. Because how it works in America, you have your three different parties, like Democratic, Republican, and Green Party. Because you know it's so proportionately lower, it kind of forces you to pick your least favorable option instead of your most represented one. So instead of having just two big parties, it kind of forces you to have to think about who is your least favorite, and you're going to vote against that instead of voting for what you want to change the country. And here you have like 15 or 20. It actually levels out the playing field because you can actually put your focus on choosing the one that actually fits you the best. So it just makes total sense of how that electoral system helps the country as a whole. It's forcing all the parties to have to work together to make changes around the country. The vote wouldn't be winner takes everything. It would be proportionally given. So the majority of the proportion would be given to one party, and then they will choose their coalitions. But then you can still get the viewpoints of minority groups. And it makes a lot more sense to have a lot of different parties with different goals in mind, and you can vote for the one that you feel most comfortable with. But now also the electoral system is pretty complex, and I highly doubt that I did an amazing job really putting it all in detail. So if you guys could, write in the comment section exactly how the electoral system works. That I just have not heard of would have to be the box 3 wealth tax. It's basically taking all of your assets minus your debts, and then that right there would equal your taxable wealth. All right, so I will do my best to give a sort of analogy to the box 3 wealth tax. Say your apple tree would be your savings account and your mango tree would be your investments account. And the government comes along and says, I think your apple tree produces this, and I think your mango tree produces this. They were going to tax you now around 36% for what you potentially have harvested. Now say a storm happened and you actually didn't get any apples or any mangoes. The government will still come in and say, based on your tree, we think that you're gonna be producing around this level, so we're gonna tax you on that anyway. Now, if I understand correctly, I do think that they are trying to change that so that they do tax you on what you actually get instead of being taxed on estimated income from all of your assets. So another reason why I would like to say that it's actually a reason why you should live in the Netherlands is English is widely spoken. 90% of the Netherlands or something like that knows English because they learn it when they're inside of school. You can like order or get around socially just by using English. But to really like feel integrated into the culture or really integrated into the Netherlands would be to learn Dutch. So another great reason why it is actually very beneficial that the Netherlands speaks English. If you think for education, there's plenty of degrees that's offered inside of English. So that's a benefit for you because then you don't really have to learn advanced Dutch to still get a degree, to get a diploma, or to get a job, because there are a lot of English-speaking jobs that's available for you. So those are also reasons why the Netherlands speaks English is good for you. That's also not the only reason why the quality of life is just better here. Because you also have to think, how did I get here? There's no car roads, but there is a bike road. The infrastructure for a bike is just so much better. You have safe bike lanes all throughout the country where you can travel city to city or province to province just on a bike. So even having that little bit of exercise inside of your life, and that's already making the quality of life a lot better. But this was not always the case. There was actually a movement that happened in the 1970s. And actually the comment from my last video talked about it further. Bart van de Akker says, the infrastructure in the Netherlands is built for walking and cycling. This is a conscious choice. The Stop Child Murder protest demonstrated that people were tired of encountering cars everywhere. Adapting the infrastructure took decades and the result of sensible choices. Now, this is actually true. In the 1970s, there were so much cars everywhere, and it was killing a lot of people and children as well. And yeah, the Netherlands, they were fed up with it. So Stop de Kindermoord, that actually became a protest that forced the government to rethink of how they're going to be doing the infrastructure for the traffic. What we have now is safe bike roads and laws that coexist with a car. And why it's actually convenient for you to have a bike inside the Netherlands is that it actually is faster to get around in the city than it is with a car. And it's crazy to think about, it's crazy to wrap your head around it. But with all the traffic jams, with how busy Amsterdam is or how busy Utrecht is, it's just hard to find parking. It's hard to get around. There's tramways that you always have to constantly wait for. There's actually been times where on the GPS, it says it'll take around like 15 minutes to get into the city center. But that's just due to traffic jams, to the stoplights, the buses that's constantly going in and out. But with the bike, it'll take like 8 minutes. There's places where you actually have roundabouts dedicated for bikes. It's just cheaper than having a car. Because there's so many bikes inside the Netherlands, you can find a secondhand bike for like $100, $200. There's no insurance, no road tax, there's no expensive parking. If you want to be extra safe and you don't want to put your bike outside, you can go to a gemeente fietsenstalling and yeah, park your bike in there. And one of the malls inside of my city, they have a free fietsenstalling, and you can just leave your bike in there while you go shopping or while you're out inside the city. And the relative maintenance is extremely low. Yeah, versus your oil change, your fluids, no need to put gas in the tank. Yeah, you just walk out, step up, and go. So let's actually talk about the safety of the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands actually has a very low crime rate. And I think you could take any of the states and it will still have the lower violent crime rates. And it just feels a lot safer to walk around. And also what you see in the Netherlands is there's very, very young kids. Like I'm talking like 6 to 9 year olds, no supervision. And they kind of they go outside and play by themselves, no supervision. And as we're talking, you probably can't even see. But in the background, there's 3 kids on the bike out in this park. No parents around. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when, the kids just feel safe. And that's just one of the shocks for me, just seeing how safe the kids feel outside. The first thing that's actually a bit of a culture shock would have to be like how walkable the cities are. Now, where I had lived, I was inside of Alabama, inside of upstate New York, and I always loved walking, but you notice that nobody is outside, partly because there's not really much around you. Everything you have to do, you needed a car in order to get there. But then when you come here, the cities are super close by, and the second you see that sun hit the sky, you're gonna see a flood of people all over the city. And this one is definitely one of them shocks where it's like, yeah, I'm actually really glad we got that. That makes total sense. A friend of mine that does YouTube that's similar to the ones I do, I actually made a deeper video talking about this. And I was just like, yeah, that's a great point. Like how walkable the cities are is something that is completely underrated. Now, when I mean like these cities are walkable, yes, I do mean like, you know, the city is close by, it's pretty dense, but I'm also talking like it is so walk friendly. There's parts inside some cities where a car can't even get into. And since we're on the subject, this is actually gonna lead me to my next point, which was gonna be the driving. Oh my goodness. Like I was speaking before about how there's some spots where you just cannot drive into, but there are also places where you can drive. You driving with bikes on the street, you have to get used to driving with bikes as if they're vehicles too. That's like one thing that really shocked me was having to drive with bikes like the bikes are vehicles. But having to drive alongside the bikes isn't the only shocking thing with driving the car inside the Netherlands. You also got the different rules to driving inside the Netherlands. One thing that shocked me was the having the right of way. Man, that still trips me up. Like we're used to, you know, the person going straight has right of way. But no. Around here, it's different. The right has right of way. And it actually got me thinking of another thing that the Netherlands does, but America probably never will. Now, it would be the license plates. Just the whole system of the license plate is completely different. Now, when you have a car inside of America, your license plate would be assigned to the car. So when you trade your vehicle off or when you sell the car, you would have to remove the plates, register for new plates with title ownership, deregistering your plates, all that little dibbly-dabbly stuff, you could remove all of it. Because the license plates for the cars here are assigned to the owner. So they don't change. That license plate number, who owns it, gets transferred over to the person that buys the car. All you have to do is just let the vehicle customs know that, hey, look, I'm giving this car ownership to this person over here, so they automatically put their name as a new owner. The dog tax? Really? You have to pay taxes just for the pure fact of owning a dog. Lucky for me, there are some cities that decided to not have dog tax in them, but it still is a prevalent thing. Let's say I lived inside of Amsterdam, I believe that's one of the municipalities that do have dog tax. Yeah, either way, dog tax is a thing. Threw me for a loop. Figured you might want to know that as well. But not only is the crime super low, but there's also a high attention on the healthcare systems. You get help, as much help as you need with your healthcare plan. It's actually very affordable. The only downside is that there is a large waiting list, but the help is available, which is a giant plus versus not being able to afford your ambulance cost. Let's first talk about the school bags. Now, for those of you that don't know, when somebody graduates from high school, they actually put their backpacks on a Dutch flag. And it's just a little nod that there's a graduation that happened. Now, I can't think of any sort of equivalent, but I guess if we were to do some type of equivalent, I think it'd be sort of like you put a graduation yard sign inside of your front yard. It's kind of like that, just nodding and celebrating that this person passed their finals exams and they graduated from school. And I was just thinking about it. Wouldn't they be putting their backpacks up on the flag to sort of symbolize that they don't need their books anymore? I could be very wrong about that. Oh, there is one thing as well that completely shocked me was the home gardening culture. The amount of care that the Dutch people have inside their home garden is just, it blows me out the water every time that I see it. You have people with ponds in their front yard. How much people care about growing their own horticulture or their plants, their veggies. And it's actually one of the things that motivated me to provide pots and vases. Like just seeing that we all have this kind of shared culture, it would be amazing to add to that home space. So I will not only be offering a 10% discount code off of all my products. For the next 50 orders, if you live in the Netherlands and you use the code subscriber10, I will be personally delivering your products right to your doorstep. The toeslagen. The thing with the toeslagen, they basically subsidize you for having low income or income that doesn't necessarily meet the means of to what your living situation is. So you have different types of toeslagen. You have a zorgtoeslag, and that's for your health. They will subsidize you so that they cover your health insurance, your health costs. And there's also huurtoeslag. It helps you with rent. It subsidizes you for rent every month. And you also have a toeslag for your child as well, with helping out with daycare costs. Now you do have your similarities inside of America, but the difference of what you don't have and that you'll never get would be the immediate help. When you register for the toeslag, you start actually getting subsidized that next month. And how they actually make it work is by giving you the money already, and then say your situation changes and you don't have low income anymore, or I'm assuming if you lied to get the registration, what they'll do, they'll still give you the money, but they're going to rebalance out what they gave you and what you're gonna have to pay back later. And that's a really good thing, in my opinion, because when you need help, you need it in the moment you register, not the moment after the situation already passed, so you could put down and say you need help now. No, that's not how that works. The next thing that was a big, giant culture shock would be having to pay to use the public bathroom. At the first glance, you might think like, what the heck? You gotta pay to use the bathroom? But it actually makes a lot of sense when you actually start thinking about it. You go to the public bathroom inside of America, what do you get? You get unclean bathrooms, very half-assed work, and if you're lucky, maybe you'll get a little seat cover. But when you have to actually pay to use the public bathrooms, they use that money to actually clean the bathrooms as well. So you're not actually just paying to use the bathroom, you're also getting paid for a clean public bathroom. You're not gonna find stalls where you could see on the inside or see people's feet and their pants hanging down. You're not gonna find none of that, because the stalls here actually have full doors. They are their entire rooms. So it's better to pay for the clean bathroom instead of walking into a dirty bathroom and you scared to stand up and use the toilet without getting some type of infection. So this next one's actually a little bit funny, but I was actually thinking about Carnival. And one thing that really tripped me up, I'm talking like, I was so shocked. Urinals being outside, but I'm not gonna put no B-roll footage of this. I'm gonna just try my best to explain this. For all the Americans out there that's listening right now, imagine you go into the public restroom, you know all urinals, you see the urinals, just take that urinal and remove that entire building. And boom, you got yourself a public urinal. When I tell you that I was about dead when I saw that junk in Carnival, I didn't know what to think, man. There is no walls, no cover up. It's like literally just a toilet. Everybody can see you doing your business. That is still shocking me right now as I'm thinking about it. It's like I never ever even seen something like this before. Like a bathroom that is truly public. So we're on the topic of toilets, and it just got me thinking of something very fast. Something that's different would be that they have buttons to flush the toilet instead of levers. You know, we got levers, you flush the toilet with the lever, but here they have a toilet with buttons on it, and you have one button that is like for number 1, and they have a bigger button, and that's for number 2, and it just has like a higher water pressure to wash down the toilet. That was also something very quick, lighthearted, that I just thought is something different that you don't have in the US. Christmas, or the Kerstdag. One of the things that has been quickly becoming more and more of one of my favorite holidays would have to be the Christmas holidays. There's like 3 different days that you celebrate Christmas, and only one of them is for presents. I'll try and break it down to the best of my knowledge so it makes a little bit more sense. So on December 5th, you have Sinterklaas. Basically, Sinterklaas was like the original folktale story of Santa Claus. Basically how the story went was that Sinterklaas was originally in Spain, came to the Netherlands by a steamboat, and he was a bishop and basically gave out gifts on December 5th. They had brought that folktale story over to New York, inside New Amsterdam, when the Netherlands still had ownership of New York. As the years went by, the story had got changed up a little bit and became the story of Santa Claus, and the day changed to December 25th. That is what December 5th Sinterklaas is for. But because of the American Christmas movie and media influence that it had, the December 25th became also a day where you get smaller gifts and like littler things. So on the 25th, you'll have your smaller gifts, you'll have a nice big family dinner like Thanksgiving, but they have their own version of it, which would be chumeta. Everybody sits at a table and they have different types of food laid out inside of different bowls and a big giant stove that sits on top of the table, and everybody just cooks their own portions of food on that stove. You have the 26th would be the second Christmas day. And on that second Christmas day, you'll typically have another dinner with your in-laws or the other side of the family. And every year it becomes more and more of one of my favorite holidays. Thanksgiving has always been at the top of my list because it's just about, one, being with your family, and two, eating. For me, that's the best holiday you can ever have. For a long time, me and my family members haven't really been that social with each other. So recently I had got the chance to go visit my cousin in Italy. And she also makes content on YouTube about her life inside of Italy. Her name is Quay by Day. So you guys can go check her out as well. And that really kind of just opened my eyes to how important it is to still socialize with the ones that you love. And just being able to have one holiday that kind of brings everyone together. It's something that just adds to the bond as a family. So the next lighthearted thing that I have to say will have to be celebrating birthdays. Now, what I mean by like celebrating birthdays, I mean everybody gets celebrated. Everyone in that household gets celebrated, all for this one person's birthday. And for me, I'm on the wavelength of like this. Everybody's life has changed due to this person's birthday. All the good, all the bad, the sacrifices, the rewards. So I actually think it's really good that you congratulate everybody that made that possible. You don't have to make the whole entire day about everybody, but doing something small, just like congratulating them, it just makes total sense to congratulate the mom, congratulate the dad, the brother, the sister, everybody that's in the household. Yeah, that's another lighthearted thing. On to the next one. And now the next thing that was a giant culture shock for me was how sociable the neighbors are. In my opinion, you would see this a lot more if you're more conversational in Dutch. Like people would just talk to you more and you talk back. I noticed people want to hold a conversation a lot more when you speak Dutch than you do if you were to just talk in English. But yeah, it's super conversational. Everybody's very social, and if they can help you out, they really try to help you out. Or if you need to borrow some stuff, or if you just want to have company and invite somebody over, it's completely normal to do. But of course, you're gonna have your bad apples. Not everybody's gonna be good neighbors. Like me and the neighbors that I had inside the US, I didn't know them. There wasn't even no wave to say hi when you see them across the street. But here, I know so many of my neighbors just from me being outside and kicking a conversation with them. You don't realize how beneficial it is to have sociable neighbors and friendly neighbors until you actually have them. It is such a great trait to have with a society that's getting more and more individualistic. It's like so built into the culture. Like you have the option from postal services to choose to get your packages dropped off at your neighbor's house. What? Now for this next tip, I had said in my last video that it's actually a minus, but let's be clear. Personally, it's actually a plus. And that's got to be for the work-life balance. You'll notice that everybody and the businesses, they're all my time focused, more about your personal life focused. When it's time to clock out, it's time to clock out. There's more of an incentive to leave on time and to be at home on time than it is to stay extra hours at the job. And you do have a lot of stores that closes at 6 p.m. or grocery stores closing at 10 p.m. But as a worker, that's super beneficial for you because that gives you so much more time to be at home, to be with your family, or to give you extra time to do extra hobbies you want to do. Like, and for me, that's a big giant plus because I love my peace. And I love to just spend time doing the things that I love to do. But for those of you that don't know my story, I can't really reap those benefits because I'm here on a DAFT visa, which means I have to work as an entrepreneur. So in that regard, I make my own hours. But overall, inside of the workspace, that's just such a plus to have. So right now inside of the Emerald Park, they have a Frisbee golf course inside of the Emerald part. Because it was the Paasdagen or Easter, look what they put on top of the frisbee catcher thing. I don't know frisbee golf, so I don't know what this thing is called. But look at this. Whoever did that, that just made my day. You know what? After finding these Easter eggs, it actually gonna bring me to the next point, which will have to be that the Netherlands don't chill their eggs. Like I'll see at the grocery store, right? You'll see all your eggs inside of the refrigerator, or with all the dairy products, you have your eggs in there as well. Here in the Netherlands, they're on the normal shelves. You'll find them most of the times next to your baking supplies. And that's just because they don't wash the protective layer that the eggs produce when they lay their eggs. That makes it safe and doesn't need to be chilled, which is also just another thing that would lead me to like the food industry. Now that's a bit of a bigger topic that I'm not gonna be talking too deeply into this video, but even just the difference between the food regulations inside of the Netherlands versus the food regulations inside of the US, that's in itself is completely different. There's some ingredients inside of America that is just simply not allowed to be here. There's a whole different rabbit hole that you could get down into on just the food industry. But one of those would have to be the protective layer of eggs. So let's talk about festivals and traditions. Now, I would be the first to say that I'm not a very big festival person, but I actually got to celebrate Carnival with Sam from Exploring the Foreign. And for me, I actually had a blast. I still love Juneteenth. I still love Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, all of our traditions. And there are some holidays that I just like better here than inside of America. For example, Christmas. What we have normally would be one day, we have Christmas Eve, and then you have Christmas Day. Bit of a different perspective here. Instead of it being about the gifts that you get, it's more about the people that you're around. And I really like that. You have 2 days to celebrate Christmas. You have a Christmas Eve, then you have a Christmas dinner with the chumeta, and that's always a good time to be close with your family. It's kind of like Thanksgiving for us, but they just celebrate it on Christmas Day. It's just all about family and being together, and that is something that I really like, that I actually will be adapting into my everyday life. And Carnival, for example, depending on where you're at, is different. Breda is more like a Halloween. You bring a costume and just have some fun. And Den Bosch is more suited to be inside of your culture, inside of your Oeteldonk culture. So I like these different aspects that they have to their holidays. I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest festival goer, so that's not really a plus for me. But I can imagine a lot of you guys are, and the festivals, they get crazy. They love house music, EDM. If you're into that stuff, there's plenty of that all around. For me, I don't mind dubstep. I don't like being packed in like sardines inside of a large space. That's a plus for you guys, but that's a minus for me. Another one would have to be the tipping culture. And I know, hold on. I know if you watch videos like mine, this is something that you've heard before, the tipping culture. Yeah, I know. It just isn't one here. You don't tip. So waitresses and waiters, they get paid for their work and paid for their labor. Like, you don't have to tip. But the tipping culture is so ingrained inside of the American culture. It's like, just pay the waiters and waitresses what they deserve to be paid so they don't have to be living off tips. That just makes the most amount of sense. When you get here and you actually, sit down, sit at the restaurant and you expecting to give a tip and then you don't even see the option on your receipt, it's very refreshing. But I just want to talk about that one briefly. So I'll go ahead and go on to the next tip. They're so built on the safety of the country, but they had actually designed water management systems. And I'm actually going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. I wanted to show you guys like a little beach area that's around here. Now, in order for us to actually get to the beach, we need to cross this bridge. As you can see, it doesn't seem like that's going to be possible. The Netherlands have dikes to control the water level because a lot of the Netherlands is actually below sea level. So they built systems that can control the water. One of those is being the dikes. But right now, the water is filled up and it's flowing out. But because it's filled up, we can't get across the bridge to go to the beach. But this is basically how the Netherlands keeps the country from flooding. And it's working. As you're here, you're going to have to adapt to the culture that's around you. And with everything being so close by, having a bike fits right into that. Going to work in the morning, visiting with friends, having a joyride, just enjoying nature. It's not like you're gonna be seeing the same views like you would inside of a car going on a highway. You actually see different views, different landscapes. There's no need to plan a trip. You just hop on and go. And the fifth reason is you're getting at least a little bit of exercise. and it keeps you feeling active without you even thinking about it. It's low effort and still a healthy perk to add to your lifestyle. Now, this one here, I don't see why we don't have it, but we don't. But that would be maternity leave. So when you have a newborn, you are allowed to have maternity leave so you can spend time with your newborn and not be stuck in an office when you have a new baby that's just entered into the world. But not only is there going to be also maternity leave, you also have paternity leave. So as the father, you also have the ability to take leave off of work to be with your newborn. And that just got me thinking, why do we not have that? That seems something so logical to have. Of course you want to be with your kid. America is one of very few countries that don't have it. I think that's also like one of the focuses of the Netherlands, like being more family focused and wanting to have this balance that is, yeah, family first, work second. Yeah, it's really great to see. I wish there was some things that could be adopted inside of the American infrastructure, but to be quite frank, it just doesn't sit inside of the American culture to have those things in place. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. And if you guys have any other things that the Netherlands has, but America just doesn't, please make sure you put that down inside of the comment section. And if you guys like the video, like the video. Just saying, it helped me a lot. It'll help me a lot. Share the video, write down your comments if you guys have them. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel and stick around for more videos. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.